Hey there, scholars. Here's part 3 of the Solving Equations worksheet. We're going to do a similar one. Wow, look at this. This is almost like what we had before. We have this x here, and we're just going to try to move all these other things to the other side from x. So one of the first things I have to do is just get rid of this b. And in order to do that, I'm going to multiply by b on both sides. Now let's put parentheses here just to make it really clear what we're doing. Remember, if something doesn't have a denominator, it really has a secret denominator of 1. So that just reminds me that this b is in the numerator. I don't really have to write that though. So I'm doing this, and so I have b over b is equal to 1, so it cancels out. And so on the left, I have cb. And then on the right, I have a minus x, because b over b is 1. All right, good. So now we have a minus x. Now we're not going to multiply or anything like that because these are two different terms, and it's a minus x. In order to undo a minus, I'm going to add x to both sides. Actually, instead of doing that, that's going to make me have 2 more steps to do. You could do that. I'm going to do it a little bit quicker than that, though. I'm going to subtract a off both sides. I guess it does either way. It's going to be about the same. Well, I'm just going to do it this way. So here comes on the left, we're going to have CB minus A. So there we go, CB minus A. On the right, we have A minus A is 0, and we still have a negative x over there. And then since it's negative x, all I have to do is multiply the whole equation by -1, or I could divide by -1. Either way, it does the same thing. So I can take maybe I'll do it like this. I'll do it in a different color so it's really clear what we're doing here. So I'm going to multiply by -1 on that side, and I'm going to multiply by -1 on the right as well. So, so it's multiplying on both sides. And then all that's going to do is change all the minus signs and everything around. So I'm going to get negative CB minus 1. So that's going to turn to a plus. So it's going to be plus A. And then this one's going to be plus X over here. So that's just going to be X. And a different way to write that, let's write it with the variable on the left. So X equals, a lot of times in math class, we switch the order so the positive thing is first. You don't really have to do that, but you can. A minus CB. All right, look at that. There it is. Okay. All right, here's the next thing. So we have R equals X minus A over B. We're going to start by multiplying B on both sides to get that out of the denominator, just like we did before. I'm going to multiply it on this side. Remember, it doesn't matter whether you multiply on the left or right because it's the same thing. And let's see, this cancels out because B over B is 1. So we have BR equals X minus A. All right, and now we have an X and an A. These are 2 separate terms. So if I want to get rid of the A, since it's subtracted, I'm going to do the opposite and add it. So I'm going to add A on both sides. Add A, add A. What's wrong with my pen here? There we go. Okay. So on the left, we have BR plus A. And on the right, we have X plus 0. So I can, if I want to, I don't really have to, but I'm going to write it like this. Switch the sides so that the variable's on the left. So you have BR plus A. Okay, so there's the answer to that one. All right, now we have X squared equals 25. And the cool thing about this, now we're going to work with square roots because we can actually take, I'm going to rewrite this down below just to make it a little easier to see. Right, so if I want to solve this, I can actually take the square root of both sides of the equation. And so the square root undoes the squared, so that just makes it x. And x is going to be, okay, I'm going to write this with an additional step here. It's going to be the positive or negative square root of 25, which is 5. So x is going to be equal to positive or negative 5. This is just a shorter way of writing x equals 5 or x equals negative 5. Because if you negative 5 squared is also 25. So it could be either one of those. So sometimes we write it like this. This is a perfectly good way to write it. That's what the plus or minus means, is that it could be negative or positive. We could also write it that way too. All right, now we're going to do this one here. The first thing I'll do is, I guess I'll write this again, 49x equals x cubed. And the first thing I'll do is divide by x on both sides so that the x, here we go. The x cancels out. And just like we did before, we could write it as x over x. And that one of those is going to cancel out with one of those, and we'll have an x squared on top. But we can write it like this as well. We can just go, that x cancels out that and turns it into a squared. If that's confusing, just write it out this way, and you can cancel it out like this. X cancels out one of those x's, and then we have 2 left over, so that's going to be x squared. So what do we have that didn't cancel? We have 49 equals x squared. And then, so for the same reason, we have x is equal to the plus or minus square root of 49, which is positive or negative 7. And we could check that by putting it in there and make sure that it works out. The last two are on your own. Just make an equation and solve it. If you want to check and make sure it's correct, just take whatever you got your solution and put it back into the equation and make sure that the left and right side are both equal. And you will know that you've got it right. And if they're not equal, you probably made a mistake somewhere. All right, have fun with that and see you later.